another episode of NARAL's The Morning After. Jaime, what's going on?
So, John Kasich's been going around the country saying he's a moderate. Did you hear about that?
A moderate?
Yeah.
How is he moderate?
I don't know how to answer that question because
how does he claim to be moderate?
He claims to be moderate because, he gave poor people health insurance through Obamacare.
Okay.
Which really didn't mean anything in Ohio. He let the federal program exist in his state.
Okay.
So, we'll give him a little bit of props for that. But then he talks about how, he's not like all these other people. He was actually quoted somewhere saying, Republicans talk too much about abortion. We need to talk about that less.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if he talked about it less in Ohio, because when you look at any other issue of any bill that he's done while he's been governor of Ohio, abortion's been his most popular signing topic.
Yeah.
Right.
He's signed 16 different provisions into law that cut access to abortion, reproductive health care, defunded Planned Parenthood, told rape crisis counselors what they can and can't talk about. I mean, this man has signed bill after bill after bill after bill. So,
right. And the abortion bans that he's passed, did those, because this was another one of his moderate comments, was saying that he believes in exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Were those included when he signed this abortion bans into law?
No, actually,
so he wasn't moderate then?
no, none of the bans that he's passed included rape and incest exceptions.
Has he vetoed anything?
No.
Okay. So everything that came to his desk, he gleefully signed.
Ohio Right to Life says, I want this bill. And John Kasich says, okay, and tells the legislature to do it. And he signs it and it goes into effect. And he's closed half of Ohio's abortion clinics and, forced women out of state for medical care when they're facing complications during pregnancy. Our doctors talk about having to send women to Pittsburgh and to Detroit now in order to get the health care they need.
Right.
So, John Kasich is not a moderate.
Ohio, I read an article the other day. Ohio is the epitome of the anti-abortion size incremental strategy of basically trying to slowly chip away at abortion. Basically, 24 weeks, 20 weeks. Okay, let's see, 16 weeks. And it's happened. So they're just going to keep doing it. And basically, Ohio is like the laboratory for that, for the anti-abortion side. See, we can do this and you can do it incrementally and it's working. Yeah. So it's not good.
No, it's not at all. I mean, we've been saying over and over again, the stuff that Kasich's put into place could actually close every single clinic in the state of Ohio. They don't need to pass the heartbeat bill or any other abortion bans to stop legal abortion in Ohio. His health department could go into any clinic they wanted at any point in time and say, we don't think your variance or your transfer agreement is good enough. You can't challenge my decision. So bye, you're closed.
He's set up enough gimmicks within the law that he's able to do this now.
Yeah,
because he signed these things into law. And the other side of this is he's almost comically getting grief from really extreme anti-abortion organizations saying that he hasn't done enough. But the things that they want are the heartbeat bill ideas.
Yeah. They want him to basically overturn Roe v. Wade in Ohio. And because he hasn't done that, he's not pro-life enough.
But the devices that they want him to pass haven't passed through the legislature.
No.
Because they're so extreme. And they have been ruled unconstitutional in other states like North Dakota and Arkansas?
Yes.
So it's not that Kasich is moderate by not accepting these.
No.
It's that they are so far to the right, way at the end of the spectrum, that they're pushing things that not even Ohio's incredibly conservative House of Representatives are wild about passing. And the Senate certainly isn't going to move them.
No.
That's why him and Jeb Bush are considered the moderate ones in the whole Republican nominee race right now, because if you have 15 people who are over here and you're right here, then it may maybe no one can see my arms. But anyway,
we gotcha.
Yes, you know what I'm saying. Then of course, you're going to seem like a moderate when you're really not.
No.
You're just as conservative. You're just not as crazy.
Yeah.
But you still are. I mean, but that's what they're touting right now is that, oh, look, you know, he went to a gay wedding. He's so moderate. Like, what? No, he's not actually. And the thing about you're saying, they keep talking about, oh, well, women care about other things besides abortion. We don't want to just keep talking about that. But they're the ones that are talking about it. They other side, not just him, like their whole communications thing is, oh, well, women can think above the waist, blah, blah, blah. They care about jobs. I'm like, yeah, we do. And you're the ones who have put forth almost 300 different restrictions around the country over abortion. Pass them. How many?
Talk.
Yeah, exactly. So how many jobs and economic policy bills have you pushed? You haven't pushed any, and you're saying that we're the ones who want to talk about abortion, but it's over and done with. We're like, okay, it's over and done with. We can move on. But y'all are the ones who keep trying to overturn it and then say, oh, well, why do we keep talking about abortion? Because you keep trying to do this and we're not going to let you. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Well, and women do think about other things. Let's talk about John Kasich's other records. He touted in his last budget, well, he fixed public child care subsidies. Actually, he didn't. He increased the amount of money that you can make overall, but there's so many pitfalls in the program that you can make up to, I think, 300% of poverty now and still get some part of your stipend. But you can only get into the program at 125%. So if you're making 150, you can't get even into the program in the first place. So you have to like lose your job to get into the program and then try to find another job, and then you can hold on to it. And if your hours go down or your hours go up temporarily and you get kicked out, you can't get back in again. So, you know, he's
a lot of different things.
Moderate on anything.
Yeah, his taxes have cut thousands of dollars for the wealthiest Ohioans. People who are considered middle class got like a $24 cut. And if you're low income, you pay $20 more now because of him, because rich people needed to get a bigger tax break.
Yeah, and that's not even counting all the local taxes and everything.
Our charter school system is one of the worst in the country. So yeah, we do care about, and he's doing a terrible job on everything.
Yeah. So in general, bad and worse.
So then this week we saw two things. What was the first thing we saw?
So the first one was an activist in Iowa, New Hampshire,
Iowa.
One of those two early states.
Everything is Iowa, New Hampshire.
Then it will be Ohio.
Yeah. We don't care until they're actually picked, and then we actually get to pick the leader of the free world. So, you know, they can get their first primaries. But no, an activist went up to John Kasich and told him that she really liked what she had seen out of Ohio, and the fact that John Kasich had, you know, closed half of Ohio's abortion clinic. And could he do that across the United States if he got elected president? And after all this, oh, I'm a moderate. That's not what I care about. He's like, oh yeah, sure. We'll do our best, I think is what he said.
We'll do our best to close half the abortion
clinics in the United States if he gets. So there's his first campaign problem. He's going to campaign promise. He's going to close half of America's abortion clinics. So yeah, but what was really interesting is, you know, we've shot video asking him questions about abortion. It's not something he likes to talk about. He likes to sign bills behind closed doors, hiding from people. I mean, when he signed the budget, he came in the back door. We had lots of backdoor Kasich jokes. But, you know, it's not something he likes to do out in the forefront. You know, you'd think if you were proud of your record, you'd, you know, scream about it. Obviously, not so much. So every time we ask him a question, he starts running the other direction. And it was interesting because he did it to this person too. You know, he kind of on the way out of the door in the hotel, you know, through the sliding doors, like, oh yeah, we'll do our best, and walked away.
So she was talking to him about his record, and he didn't even want to stand there and explain what he'd done, discuss it. She was being polite about it.
Oh yeah. Praising him actually for it. So, you know, he didn't even want to talk to somebody who was praising his record. So
that was Tuesday, running from his record. And then Wednesday, he was at a town hall in New Hampshire. Where he was asked, what will he do about Roe? How can we address Roe? And his response was, well, it's the law of the land.
Sounds familiar to his marriage equality statement during the debate. It's a real cop-out kind of answer, ain't it?
So all of a sudden, he's Mr., you know, let's respect the rights that are established. as back home, he's chipping away at them.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's this sort of two-faced, we should respect this, but I never mind the fact that I've got an entire career about disrespecting this law of the land.
Never mind the person behind the curtain.
Right. Yeah. No kidding.
No kidding. Well, and then today somebody actually asked him about that, and it was in the Cincinnati Enquirer. He even walked that one back with, well, it's the law of the land till we change it. So I think, everybody who loved his stance on it's the law of the land about, Oglesfield in the marriage equality case should, definitely pay attention to that one because, it's the law of the land until Kasich can change it. And who puts people on the Supreme Court? Oh, wait, that's the president.
Right.
Exactly.
People who own up to being hell-bent on reversing a law don't refer to it as the law of the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he's really doing his best to just sort of waffle back and forth.
Maybe we should put him on John Kerry's windsurfing.
That would be a decent idea.
That'd be fun.
A big waffler.
A big waffler. Let's have some fun with that.
Okay.
Also, so another really crazy thing that Kasich said this week.
John Kasich's greatest hits.
Yes, exactly. He said that if he was not president of America but king.
Oh, he's running for king now.
Yes.
Okay.
They actually said that at the first Republican debate box, they were like, "We're here to see who the next king is going to be." They said those words. Yeah, they did. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know we had a king now, but I guess they're going to take it and run with it." So he said if he was king, he would get rid of all the teachers' lounges so that they couldn't be in there all woe is us, so that they wouldn't be able to complain.
Not get rid of the teachers, just the lounges.
Yes.
He hates the room.
Exactly. Because you need a lounge. It's like, first of all, your premise is erroneous on many accounts. The first account is that, first of all, I don't need a lounge, to complain about my job. I can do that anywhere. Right. So they don't need lounges to complain about being teachers. And secondly, okay, this reminds me of when they asked George Bush what was his most disappointing thing being in office, and he said his most disappointing moments, his worst moment was when Kanye West said that he doesn't care about Black people. So it wasn't actually Hurricane Katrina happening. It wasn't going into Iraq. It wasn't us, going into a deep recession. It was
Kanye West hurt my feelings.
Yeah, basically him being called out for not caring about Black people.
Yeah,
that was his worst moment. Not the actual. So Black people actually being there and experience it. Not bad for them. Bad that you made me feel bad. Made me feel like say by saying I don't care about them. So it's not that he cares about the complaints that teachers have and about the things that they actually have to deal with on a daily basis. The problem, so it's not those issues. No. The problem is that they're complaining about it too much.
Yeah.
In that room.
In that room. Yes. Well,
let's just,
That's really the most important thing. If he was king, he would end their access to that coffee maker.
To that room so that they would stop complaining.
Thou shall not have a private bathroom.
You must go to the bathroom.
He hates the teacher's lounge.
He hates the teacher's lounge. I would say he doesn't very much care for teachers. Yeah. So, he doesn't like them or their lounges, and they need to stop complaining because, what is there to complain about when you are working 40, 50 hours a week, taking, work home, buying stuff out of your own pocket, sometimes not even having a contract because they don't know how much they're going to be able to pay you because there's been so many cuts, having 20, 30 kids in a classroom, having kids who can't concentrate because they're hungry. What could they possibly have to complain about?
I have no idea. That sounds like a perfect environment to work in.
I know. I don't understand.
But King Kasich would rather have them complaining to the kids in the classroom, not actually
apparently so.
Discussing it privately behind closed doors.
Yes, exactly. It's ridiculous. And thank God he is never going to be king and, hopefully not president either.
Yeah. It just shows how much disdain the man. I think it actually finally got the closest to the John Kasich we all know in any of his appearances.
Yes,
this
absolutely.
Because I mean, we have all these videos of him calling, police officers idiots and, going off on various people. I mean, he actually went off on one of the more conservative people than him in a public hearing when she was yelling at him for expanding Medicaid, and he told her that God was going to judge her the pearly gates. Wow. So yeah, it was kind of the first time you saw a glimpse of, still not on real John Kasich, but a glimpse of the real John Kasich.
Welcome to the show, America.
It's really fun to watch. Just don't ever put yourself in a place where he controls any of your laws, because that's bad news.
Right. Who says that anyway when you're running for if I were king? Like, really? Okay.
I'm pretty sure all the conservatives are saying that Obama is acting like a king, and that's a really bad thing. So,
right. I mean, he's definitely been, and that's such an old, kind of tired thing in American politics to say somebody's acting like a king. To have somebody come out and brag about what he would do if he had that power that we seek to prevent people from having.
It's classic John Kasich.
Teachers' lounges.
Teachers' lounges.
Not fixing homelessness or housing, hunger, making sure kids get preschool, abolishing teachers' lounges for sure.
Yes. So that is the problem.
So we forgot to label our segments, unfortunately. Actually, I will take full blame here. So the woman in New Hampshire catching John Kasich in the hallway about closing clinics across America is that's what she said this week. So we give her that's what she said.
Who's got the walk of shame?
The walk of shame is actually back in Ohio, not John Kasich this week. Somebody beat him. Hard to believe, but so Senator Frank LaRose, in LaRose, which is a name that we actually haven't mentioned around here before, because he's actually,
because I always thought he was a moderate.
Exactly. But I think we're back in Randi world where, when all your colleagues are all the way over here, when you're here, you see moderate until you, I guess, show your true colors. So last Thursday, right after our last podcast was put on the air,
right,
a bill was dropped by Senator LaRose. And when we saw the co-sponsor memo, it was going to make it the penalties harder for selling fetal tissue from abortion in Ohio, because we already have some laws on it, and that already prevents every single clinic in the state of Ohio from donating fetal tissue, not even getting close to selling, but donating it. So nobody does it. So LaRose wanted to introduce a bill to make it harder to not do, I guess.
Oh,
and
that is so idiotic,
isn't it? So if it had just stopped there, it would have been one thing. But it didn't actually stop there. It actually went further. So not only does it redefine what the selling of fetal tissue is, it redefines it as any even reimbursement for costs. So you wouldn't be able to donate it and get like reimbursement of storage costs or transportation costs or any of those kinds of things, which is legal everywhere else. So you wouldn't be able to do that. But you wouldn't be able to experiment on that tissue in Ohio. We have two of the most preeminent medical research facilities with, Case Western and the Ohio State University Medical Center. So you wouldn't be able to experiment on it. So that's probably not going to make a lot of medical researchers happier. And then he went further, and you're not even allowed to use any medical treatment derived from fetal tissue from abortion.
What?
So vaccines, cancer treatments.
No vaccines?
Several of the vaccines originate from these types of fetal tissues.
Yeah.
Wow.
So not only is he banning something that doesn't happen again and making it harder not to do it, he's also tying the hands of medical researchers and stopping us from getting access to vaccines. So Frank LaRose went from, hey, that's that moderate dude, right? To like about as far to the extreme as we can get in the Ohio Senate, because they're a little more rational in Ohio standards.
Yeah. This doesn't seem like a well thought out idea.
No, it really doesn't. It sounds like a kind of knee jerk, hey, wait, that seems bad and I should do something to respond. So here, try this.
Right.
So hopefully somebody's cooler head will prevail at some point so that, we don't lose every researcher from Ohio State. And
I'm just speechless right now with the whole thing. Like, Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want people to use vaccines or any treatment.
Yeah, what I don't get is like
These are fetal tissues from abortions. These fetuses are not going to exist anyway because these women have decided to terminate the pregnancy. And we can use these this tissue
to help people,
to help living beings. And you want okay, let's just move on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like they actually believe that like a woman is saying, you know what, I'll have the abortion as long as I can donate my tissue. But no, if I can't donate my tissue, then I'm not going to have an abortion.
Yeah,
that is not in any woman's mind.
No,
in fact, actually, federal law doesn't even let you like have that conversation. From what I've been reading, like that conversation has to happen like after they've made the decision to have the abortion, right? Because people were concerned that women would be incentivized by the ability to donate tissue, which is so asinine. I don't even like.
Yeah,
like women are making the decision based on like what is best for them and their families and everything else. So yeah, so LaRose, who I never thought like if I was going to pick somebody who would probably never show up on Walk of Shame, it probably would have been him in the state legislature. But you know what? He shows up today. So good job, Frank LaRose.
Walk of Shame.
Walk of Shame for the week.
Wow.
And a close second to the Walk of Shame, Randy.
Oh, yes. A very close second.
Topic of the week.
Well, you know, yesterday I saw in the news that there had been like this really big security breach over the internet. Apparently people like were some websites, a couple of different websites were hacked and they got people's information. And today it came out that Josh Duggar from the canceled TLC show 19 Kids and Counting had not one but 2 accounts on Ashley Madison, which is, if you don't know what Ashley Madison is, it's this dating website specifically for married people. And the catch line is life is short, have an affair. So you can go on there to see you know what, and so they showed it. So basically was really funny because they were basically saying, you know, both of these accounts were with his credit card. The one address was linked to his grandmother's house that was showed on the show.
He used his grandma's house for Ashley Madison.
Yeah. The other one was linked to his Washington, D.C. home in Oxon Hill. The birth dates that he put on the website, the one account was a month off. I think they said his birthday is like March 3rd. It was a month off. It said February. The other one was one day off. It said March 2nd instead of his actual birthday. And then they showed like the things that he was looking for. Yeah.
Hold on.
You must have saw it.
He's going to hide his birthday, but he'll give up his grandma's address. Well, what is the second account for?
Exactly.
Because he moved to Washington, D.C. to work for the Family Research Council. Yes. So he needed, he needed to have affairs where he was at that point. So
the Family Research Council.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do they do again?
What do they do?
They don't like extramarital affairs.
I don't think. Yeah, I think that's
when
probably
you got
something
the word
bad.
family in your name.
Yeah.
Family research. Let's research how affairs help families.
Yeah, exactly. Not so much.
Maybe it was work-based research.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of on the fence on whether we were going to talk about it because Gabe brought up the point, if you want to go on there and have an affair, that's your prerogative.
Yeah, it's not polite.
It's not. Business. Yeah, it's your business. You're an adult. Like you want to do that, you can do that. But at the same time, and then the point I made was just that because he worked for the Family Research Council, he's on 19 Kids and Counting with the whole, what they call it, quivering or
careful. I don't even kiss my bride until we're already married.
Exactly. Yeah. And so just the whole thing of he was out there, as a face, touting these values, and not just touting the values, but at the same time making other people who don't ascribe to that value system feel like they are less.
Yeah.
and that they're going to hell and that they're not, good moral people because they don't subscribe to the same, faith and values that he supposedly subscribes to,
right.
Which, no, nobody is perfect. But at the same time, if you're literally getting paid to be that, and it turns out you're not that at all, that's a problem. That would be like me being here on a staff member, and I secretly have some pro-life blog where I'm like bashing everything that we do. Like, no, that's not okay. So that is why it's like then it's kind of funny, like reading people like trying to defend him and everything. I'm like, you cannot defend that. No. He had these accounts for 2 years.
Yeah.
If somebody, they're like, oh, well, this was a whole, they only got out because they were leaked, because it was hacked. Someone could have gotten his information. If I'm paying a monthly subscription
it was
fee,
a substantial amount, like $900.
Yes.
$900.
Exactly.
A lot of
money.
money.
He paid a $250 upfront affair guarantee fee.
That was my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you don't get an affair within 3 months, they like give you your money back.
Exactly.
He must have been that scared
just
that nobody
go to a bar.
I mean, really, come on now.
200.
So yeah, that would be really hard to believe that he had it for 2 years and was paying all that money, and somehow, someone must have stole my credit card and was doing that this whole time, and I didn't know.
Nobody's pranking you for $900.
No, exactly. Like, come on, people, it's right there in your face.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really crazy. But I mean, they already canceled their show. He had to resign from Family Research Council.
They canceled the show, but the headline that I saw last week was talking about how his parents apparently are now offering. Oh, I'm starting. are offering assistance. This is really sick and twisted. Offering assistance for families who have had somebody who's been sexually assaulted.
Yeah, the parents who covered up their son sexually assaulting their daughters.
Oh, that
is going to get a TV show. Is pitching, not getting pitching a TV show where they're going to counsel from a Christian point of view other families like theirs. I'm like, no.
I'm like, please don't let there be other families like theirs, because that's
there
so
are
messed
though.
up.
That's the fucked up thing.
But the idea of a family creating that environment that allowed this assault to happen, that covered up for it, that continued this situation, and then to say that we've got the fix for it, to me it screams pyramid scheme. Like, we're going to show you how to create the situation for your children where they're likely to get assaulted, and then we're going to show you how to help them when that happens. I'm like, no,
exactly.
Let's just break this cycle right here. This is the most messed up situation I've ever heard of.
When you have that many kids, then the older kids are helping to raise the younger kids. I read, the oldest daughter, I can't remember her name, but she like wanted to leave because she felt like she was having to be there to basically raise the younger kids. When you have like 19 kids, I mean, it's just not physically, even though, they were taking care of them financially, which is good, and that's all right. But just like on a emotional and physical level, you have that many kids, you just cannot be everywhere at once to actually give them all the attention that they need and to be there and supervision. Exactly. And so you have the older ones looking over their younger ones and possibly doing
well, and you also teach that sex is bad and scary, and that girls' bodies need to be covered up because they will cause the men to sin, and
which tells the men that I'm not responsible for controlling myself.
There's actually a really good, if anybody's really interested in like learning more about this and the environment, there's a woman who grew up in a quiverful household who started a blog called No Longer Quivering.
Okay.
And it's really a really interesting look into, and she's actually published quite a bit on, the environment created in these families, and how the Duggar story didn't surprise them at all whatsoever, because that is how they were raised. I mean, they go swimming in full, like the girls go swimming in full clothing because their body can't be shown.
Like long sleeve.
Okay.
Yeah, it showed once what they were wearing while like swimming.
Where do you even get a bathing suit like that?
So
I'm sure they sell them at home.
Yes, probably.
Oh yeah.
So
true.
So yeah, I encourage people to look into that because reading that has really like helped me kind of understand exactly where all that came from. So
okay, no more Duggars.
No more Duggars. Let's talk about good things happening.
Okay, so our Let's Get It On segment for this week is talking about Toledo. If you go to our website, prochoiceohio.org, you can sign a petition to ProMedica. That's the hospital chain. They're big in Toledo, and right now because they're privately owned, they have the ability to grant a transfer agreement to the Capital Care Network abortion clinic in Toledo.
Yeah.
It costs them nothing.
Nope.
All they got to do is sign a piece of paper. That's this bureaucratic permission slip. It just
means nothing.
Yeah. They can cut through a single piece of red tape that will allow the Capital Care abortion facility to remain open in Toledo. It's the last Toledo abortion provider. We need to, we're asking ProMedica to do this.
Yeah.
There's a petition on our website, prochoiceohio.org. Go there. You can sign the petition and join this campaign to get ProMedica to do the right thing. So that's our Let's Get It On for this week.
Yeah.
Cool. And actually, if you're in Toledo Monday, they're doing a volunteer training up there because Toledo Pride is actually a week from Saturday.
All right.
So if you're in Toledo and want to get more involved in the on the ground campaign, email Randi and Annie, who's not here.
Volunteer at prochoiceohio.org.
And we'll get you hooked up.
Great. Okay.
Woohoo.
So how are we closing out today's show?
Today we're closing out. Randi, you want to hand us what we've been smelling for the last 20 minutes?
Yes.
So last year, kind of in response to the ice bucket challenge, that goofball thing. Somebody decided that we would start doing tacos and beers for abortion access. So
that sounds like a great idea.
Yes. So we're celebrating on air today taco and beers to support abortion access, which in Ohio is Women Have Options and the Preterm Abortion Fund in Cleveland. Women Have Options does statewide, Preterm does at their clinic in Cleveland. So we're going to eat some tacos. We're going to drink some beers, and we are going to support Women Have Options and Preterm. So that is how we're going to go out with these very, very good smelling tacos from the taco truck by my house. And
the beer,
which is
yummy.
Some PBR, The Office. I'm going to stick to my ginger beer. Thank you very much. And we will say goodbye to everybody. Have a good week.
Bye.
For everybody. I'm just going to chew into the microphone.
Let's not.
Those are good. Where are they from?
Taco truck on Indianola Avenue. Called, I can't remember what the name of it is. It's a big yellow one. Right across the street from the Marzetti's salad dressing plant. Bet you didn't know that was from Ohio.
I did.
The fun story on that one? One time, there was such a bad rainstorm. It was in the 90s. Such a bad rainstorm happened in that area. And the storm sewers were put together wrong. That the people in the neighborhood actually had a ranch dressing flood in their basement.
Wow.
No, so not a sewer backup in their basement, but a ranch dressing backup in their basement.
That's hilarious.
Better than sewage. I prefer ranch dressing, I guess.
Wow.
So just think of your basement with ranch dressing in it instead of water.
Okay. That's insane. On that note, I'm going to click stop to end this video. Okay. See everybody next week.